Coach, so the Wildcats close out the regular season with a 65-57 win at Michigan Tech to finish the regular season 21-7. Now, in kind of reviewing that game, we've talked, a problem for the Cats this season in games that they've lost has been they've shot substantially worse in the second half compared to the first half, whereas this game was the opposite. The Cats were down at halftime and then shot the ball much better and came back to win in the second half. So how did the guys adjust and just go out and get it done in the second?
Yeah, I thought Tech came out with probably the best game plan anyone has against us, maybe all season. They hugged our shooters. They weren't going to let Max or Max get a clean look from three. They took away our ball movement, which I was a little disappointed that we couldn't fight it a little more, but they made us, and basically the second half I gave in. I said, all right, fine, if Tech's going to play us that way, I'll give up trying to coach the way I want to coach, and I just said, put your head down, go as hard as you can to the rim, and beat your guy one-on-one because we're better individually than they are. And it worked. So I don't like playing that way. I don't think that's our long-term formula for success, but in that game, I felt like we had no other choice other than to just kind of go to old school, ground and pound, get to the rim, be physical, and that definitely worked better.
Like playing on the blacktop.
Yeah. I mean, it was for sure. I mean, if they're not going to call certain fouls on the perimeter, at some point you just got to be meaner and tougher and fight as hard as you can to get to the exact point you can get to and make a layup through some contact. And I thought we did a pretty good job of that. And again, that hasn't been our team's strength all year. I don't think it ever will be. But for that one game, we were able to do it when we needed it in the second half.
Another thing from that game for me was pleasantly surprised to see and hear Brian's name being called out there. I wasn't sure if we were going to see him again. Talk about the impact of his return and realistically, what can we expect from him in this postseason?
Yeah, I love that dude. I mean, it's just different having him back out there. It changes our team. He's special in all the ways. His basketball being one of them, but to just having him back just gives us that edge back, and all the little plays he can make, and the toughness he brings, the confidence he brings. Having a second, we probably right now have the best passing point guard in the league in Max Weisbrod, and we probably have the second best passing point guard in the league in Brian. And when you have both of them out there, that changes some dynamics as far as what you can do to us defensively, and makes us much tougher. Now, he's not healthy. He's just such a tough kid. Most kids wouldn't be playing if they were, at whatever percentage he is, but he's just tough, and it's not going to risk a re-injury for him. So it's just a pain tolerance and having to put up with him being a little slower than he normally is. But he'll just keep finding ways to help us. And I don't think we could have won the conference tournament without him, just because if we are fortunate enough to get by Wednesday and Saturday, it's a back-to-back, and we need some guard depth if we're going to be able to win that game on Sunday. Now, I don't know if we'll get there, but if we get there, we definitely needed him back. So this was kind of the last attempt at trying to get him back for the conference tournament, and I thought he passed that test with flying colors. My plan was to play him 8 minutes. I think we ended up playing him 15, 16 minutes. I like coaching basketball a lot more when he's on the floor than when he's not on the floor.
So I wanted to circle back, like we said, with this win, the Cats finished the season 21-7. 5-game improvement over last year at this time. So how was a much younger team that even lost several pieces along the way? Like Brian missed a big chunk of the season. Obviously, the transfers didn't pan out this year quite like they did last year. So taking all those things into consideration, how is this team able to improve so much on the precedent that was set last year?
Well, we have the leading rebounder in the league, and he's a freshman. We have the second leading shot blocker in the league. He's a freshman, same kid. We have the fourth best shooter from the league, freshman, also same kid. So Dylan, that's answer A. And answer A part 2 is we have the leading assist guy in the league, freshman. He's, I think, the third leading three-point shooter in the league. He's top 20 in rebounding, top 20 in scoring. And on top of that, they're probably our two best defenders. So, there's more reasons, but Max Weisbrod and Dylan are two of the top 10 players in the league, and in my opinion, and they're both freshmen. So that's a huge chunk of it. And then our other freshmen, to me, have also made these big strides. Sam Privet, I thought was the key to the Tech game. If I gave an MVP to that game, it wasn't even close. It was him, and his numbers were good. But what he really did was he defended and protected the rim, and that's why our defense was so good. He chased down 2 offensive rebounds. I'm not so sure, as good as those two are, and those two right now to me would be who you'd start a program with in our whole league, knowing that they're freshmen. I'm not so sure Sam Privet's not going to develop into a top 10, top 15 type player in the league when it's all said and done. And Jackson's having a great year. Najashi's having a great year, especially as a true freshman. Those kids are just, they're really, really good. They're really talented. They care. They do the right things. And that's why we were able to make the improvement is as great as, it was awesome having John and Nick last year and Justin as transfers that were impactful. We have that same impact. They're just freshmen. So it's cool and very fortunate and lucky. And we knew they were good, but they've lived up to every expectation that we could have had for them.
To me, with Privet, it seems like his basketball IQ, he might have one of the biggest brains on the court when he's out there. I feel like his off-the-ball movement was really good in Tech, whether it be on the offensive or defensive side of the court when he got matched up with Goresger from Tech, someone who's smaller and shiftier. He understood that he may have been in a kind of a disadvantage in certain situations, but the way he moved defensively and kind of used his teammates to help him, I guess, make up some of those shortcomings. And then he did it on the offensive end too, and was just like, seemed to always be at the right place at the right time. And he's opportunistic. I guess to turn it into a question, where do you feel your team is at basketball IQ wise, and where can they learn from guys like him on that?
Yeah, my second year here, we had an assistant, Kyle Sorensen, who's from Caledonia High School in Minnesota, who played at Bemidji for me when I was an assistant. And he is from the same high school as Sam, and after about a month of being here, he was like, I wasn't going to say it until I knew, but you need to offer Sam Privet now. And I was like, okay, well, that's great. Well, what does he do? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, you'll love everything about him. He's perfect for you. He can switch 5 with the ball screen. He can shoot 3s at the center spot. He's really smart. And I popped on a tape and was like, yeah, he's pretty good. And Kyle's like, no, take him now. And I said, okay. And I'm very glad I listened because he is awesome. He's smart. He's tough. He doesn't look tough necessarily, and he's such a nice kid, and he looks like a nice kid. Most of our kids aren't that nice. He's one of the nice ones, but he's tough, nice tough. And I just think, for the most part, big guys, traditionally aren't your high IQ guys. Your high IQ guys tend to be your guards, and then your big guys are usually just, run through a wall guys. Our big kids are really smart. I mean, Sam Schultz is really smart. Sam Privet's really smart. Dylan's IQ is off the charts for, everyone looks at his athleticism, but he's really smart out there. And Najashi might be smarter than all of them as far as making little plays and basketball IQ. So we're just lucky to have, really smart big guys on top of smart guards. And I mean, the reason we're good is IQ. If we lined up and played one-on-one, 1 through 10, I don't know how great we do. Even like Max Bjorklund, yeah, he's sensational at basketball, but what makes him so great is his brain and how well he hunts shots and his confidence and how he can read things and find the creases. And I mean, he's only 6'1" at the end of the day, and he's quick, but he's not like that. He's not able to just bully his way to the rim, and he's a great shooter, but he's not like the world's best shooter. His strength is his brain, and I think that's something we've been really good at for how young we are. I think we're one of the smartest teams in the league. That's shown in assist-to-turnover ratio and some of those kind of things. And hopefully we can just keep growing, because I think the part where we aren't there yet is that collective brain. Individually, they're all really, really smart, but the collective intelligence of the group is getting better and better by the week, and that's where we have a ton of room to grow still is. So if you can mesh Sam Privet's brain with Brian's brain, with Max Weisbro's brain, when that kind of becomes a collective group thing, that's when the beauty of basketball happens. And we're getting there, we're getting closer, we have moments, but I still think that's where we have a lot of room to improve, and I guess that's why I have to coach them.
So how do you cultivate something like that then? Because, basketball IQ obviously is very, very important, but it's not like a three-point shot where you can just go in the gym and take 500 every day until you're better at it. It's not, you can't exercise that the same way. So how do you kind of cultivate that growth of basketball IQ, not just for a specific set of guys per se, but for your whole squad like that?
Watch an overabundance of film, stay picky with them. Like Max Weisberg's smarter than everyone. He really is. He just is. He's a smarter guard than anyone in the league. But rather than just give in and let him keep being smarter than everyone, it's how do we get him smarter and make him even more smart than everyone else? And obviously that comes with its set of challenges because those kids tend to be a little stubborn because they do know so much. But, just keep showing them the film, keep talking to them, keep listening to them. Because a lot of times, like, when you have kids that are that smart, you want their input on things to a degree. So I got to listen to what they say and then take it and tweak it so the whole team can get the message that they're thinking. And it's been different. A lot of coaching is usually, hey, do this, do that. This is more, what do we need to do? What do you think? But then at the end of the day, we need one answer and a consistent message and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that's been the biggest thing, is just trying to improve and realize that we still have a ton of room to improve, even though we're pretty good in that area.
So here we go. Tomorrow, Saginaw Valley State, GLIAC quarterfinals. Mm-hmm. It's awfully hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah.
So, Coach, your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, on our whiteboard right now is a couple messages. One, told them not to look past Tech, and we're down 11, and they had a wide open 3 to go down 14. I don't know if you win if they make that. So, not to look past anyone. Secondly, Tech last year beat us twice in the regular season. We ended their year. Davenport, we had won 6 games in a row against them, and we also beat them twice this year, and then we lost by 457 points in the conference championship last year. There's some real evidence that you don't need to make up that shows in the tournament beating a team for the 3rd time is really, really hard. When you throw in that Saginaw is super talented and their freshman guard, everything I said about Dylan and Max, I would apply to him equally. Those 3 are on a planet together that is no other freshman's at. So I don't know. It kind of sucks. Like, it sucks. They're good, and they're gonna be. They're fighting. Their season's over for sure if they lose. So they're gonna be fighting, and they're super talented, and they're tough, and they have great players. And I'm not going to say who, but there's some teams out there I would have preferred to play. I would not prefer to play these guys. They're that good. With that said, we just got to focus on us. We're pretty good too. And if we can play our best, hopefully that's enough. And that's all you can really focus on, is make sure we're tough and ready and focused and play our best. And if Saginaw's best is better than our best, we'll lose and move on. But I'd like to think if we can play our best, we'll have a pretty good shot.